But thank you very much indeed for everybody joining the webinar today. Matt, could you just flick through to the next slide, please? Fantastic. So my name is James Holden-Story. I'm the Regional Sales Director for campusM. I will be doing very little talking today. It will be my colleague, Matt Sherlock, who is our Director of Product Strategy, who I will allow to introduce himself shortly. Matt?
Hi guys, yeah, I'm Matt Sherlock. I'm Director of Product Strategy here at campusM. So my role is to make sure that we're developing the product to meet your current and ongoing evolving needs. It's been pretty exciting times for us over the last few months as we roll out a number of key features and functions really to address the direct challenges that you guys are facing. So that's me, and you'll be hearing a lot more from me shortly.
Thank you, Matt. Next slide. Fantastic. So just in terms of an agenda today, as Matt mentioned there, we spent obviously during these very unusual times over the last 2 to 3 months, we've been talking a lot with our current customer community, really to try and understand, I suppose, some of the impact that this COVID has had on obviously institutions and trying to understand what moving forward we need to do in terms of the product to support sort of some of the key challenges that institutions will face, not only in the immediate future, but probably in terms of the medium and long term. So what we're going to try and do today is really give you a flavour of some of the hard work that's been going on behind the scenes with our product team to really sort of list out, I suppose, some of those developments that we've made to support some of those challenges that we've identified. Matt will start off with a very brief introduction shortly, and then he'll take you through some of the challenges that we've learned and identified from speaking to our community, broken down into 4 areas, obviously communications, empowerment, engagement, and safety. And then in terms of housekeeping, we will try and hold questions to the end, if that's okay with people. Please feel free to use the chat to ask any questions. If you want to do that as we go through, that's absolutely fine. I will pick those up at the end, and I'm sure there will be more than enough time at the end to address those. Once Matt's addressed the sort of taken you through the challenges, he will then actually take you in and show you a live sort of demo as well of the different features that we've developed to really allow you, I suppose, to see the front end of what those feature developments are and how easy they are to deploy, I think is massively important. So I know a lot of you probably on the call today know about campusM and who we are, but for those that don't, I just thought I'd just take a little step back and talk a little bit about in terms of us as an organization. So campusM is part of the Libris group. I know some on the call today are familiar with the library solutions that Libris provide. campusM actually sits under one of the streams that looks to support teaching and learning and the overall student experience, and really provides a one-stop shop, as Matt will go into a little bit more detail shortly, to give your students a very personalized and contextualized experience for them to be able to access all of the key information and services and systems that are going to be relevant to them as they go through their journey with you, and very much supporting that end-to-end student journey. So, one of the nice things with campusM is it very much allows you through profiles and roles to really personalize experiences for the different subsets of that journey. So from when students apply, so obviously your prospective students, all the way through current, and then obviously out the other side to your alumni as well. So it really delivers that end-to-end experience. Just wanted to, again, just show, I suppose, the breadth of us as an organization. We currently work with over 100 institutions globally. There's obviously a lot of brands here that I'm sure you recognize within the UK, but certainly we support institutions small and large, much further afield in terms of North America, sort of Asia Pacific, and also as well South Africa as well. So just wanted to show you, I suppose, some of the scale. Very large institutions, very small, is really irrelevant because campusM can sort of fit and can adjust to the requirements of any size institution. And Matt, with that, I'm going to pass the reins over to you.
Excellent. Thanks, James. So We're just going to talk briefly about some of the work that we've done to really tee off the product development that we've been doing for the last few months, really to directly address some of these challenges that were identified directly to us by customers. So as with many suppliers, I'm sure you're inundated with discussions from suppliers. We reached out to our community group to really start to understand both what the immediate challenges were and the perceived likely challenges and scenarios that institutions would have to address going forward. And we actually undertook direct engagement with 30 plus of our customer groups, either through customer fora. We had a number of customer forum where this was discussed, and we also directly interviewed a number of our institutions as well to drill down into the detail. And I think it's fair to say that overall the biggest challenge when we looked at this, which was around April time, was really planning for the unknown. And I think that's still the case. When I look at the news articles around the world, the way the pandemic is evolving from a day-to-day basis, I think we're still very much planning for the unknown and adapting our solutions and our business processes to meet those changing demands as students return to teaching and learning, whether that's physically or virtually or a mixture of both. And that kind of precludes the need to start to understand how we deliver effective teaching and learning in a way that we potentially haven't done before, certainly not to this scale, and make sure that we're both supporting the student during these very challenging times, but also being mindful of our social responsibilities around social distancing and making sure both students and staff are safe in the workplace. Ultimately, this is about sustaining the business, and whilst hopefully the pandemic will pass and there'll be a lot of learning undertaken from this, stuff will go back to the next normal, as we've started to term it, and we need to make sure that we're prepared for that. So from a company perspective, supporting our customers, we very much look to responding to the immediate challenges, making sure that we can directly address the needs to change the way business was being delivered, making sure that customers can deliver a key targeted messages to the right cohorts at the right time to make sure that they can transition to a new business arrangement very quickly. We now feel that we're starting to look really much at the recover and then preparing for the thrive kind of phase of this pandemic, because there are opportunities. We talked to a lot of customers about this need, this drive to change how business was being run has meant a lot of additional benefits as well as a lot of challenges. So every cloud, as they say, has a silver lining, and I think there are lots of institutions that are looking at the opportunities involved with this change to business and the way they operate, and looking at the digital experience as closely as they've traditionally looked at the physical experience as well. And at campusM, we're here to help with that recover and thrive phases, and we're actively developing features and functions that will enable you to do this. James has already alluded to, just as a background to what campusM is all about, we are that one-stop shop for students on or off of campus, so they can access services, information, communications, engagement processes and workflows, all from the palm of their hand through a mobile app or through our portal-based, web-based offering as well. So we provide a cross-channel experience that allows you to deliver this kind of personalized, targeted experience to all of your students and to your staff, any real key stakeholders that you may want to engage with. And in its broadest sense, those prospective students as we go into a new marketing cycle, and also alumni as your students graduate and come out the back end of the whole experience. We're very much looking at how we make campusM as quick and easy to manage, as quick and easy to deploy, and quick and easy to actually experience as an end user as possible, while still making sure that we maintain powerful features that really deliver value to end users, and also allows you to innovate and think outside the box in these different times and be agile about that approach. So very much this is our core ethos: making things quick, making them easy, but ensuring they're still offering a powerful experience that delivers value for money for your students. Now, looking at the challenges that customers are facing and trying to kind of segment some of the key features that campusM has already or has developed in response to these changes, I looked at splitting these up into the 4 areas: the communication, empowerment, engagement, and then campus safety. Let's take a look at communication. This is really a core tenet of what campusM is all about, whether that's from providing these kind of strategic targeted communications, where we use in-app notification feature to deliver just-in-time personalized notifications to the individual, or our role-based technology that allows us to modify the user experience to provide services or information according to parameters around that individual student. So are they a final or first year student? What faculty do they study in? Have they identified as having COVID symptoms? These are all groupings that we can use to actually customize the experience and engage directly with those individual users. Our notification center allows customers to very quickly and easily send single or grouped communications to individuals, and those appear on their mobile device as with any app notification, very similar to SMS, but with no cost, and all delivered through our web-based configuration tool, App Manager. Our notification center also provides you with insight into who's read and who hasn't read those messages, giving you a kind of engagement figure around notifications, so you can start gauging how effective those notifications are. You can also target either those that have read a message or haven't read a message with a follow-on message as well, so you can start to get quite granular experiences delivered through campusM. As I say, campusM has a very powerful role-based mechanism for managing the user experience. And we've got some examples here where James is a first-year student, home-based student, and Jay might be a final year international students. On the face of it, those students will be interacting with very similar systems, so they're likely to interact with the student record system, library system, email, timetable, and all the rest of it. But they are also going to have very niche needs around their particular circumstances. So first years, we have a lot of institutions now that are developing welcome content for welcoming students back into university, particularly those that are joining as first year students. Whereas a final year student might be more concerned about careers and having careers information, or be targeted with information around graduation and preparing for their exit, or actually looking at further studies and postgraduate opportunities as well. And because we can use what we call role sync, we can synchronize a student's role within the app with information coming from your back-end systems. So this can allow us to really build up a metadata picture about your students and target the experience just to meet their direct needs. And finally, around communication, yes, we've got these very engaging notifications, but also within the app, We've got dynamic banners, so you can run campaigns, marketing campaigns within the campusM experience. A lot of our customers use this to directly provide home screen experience and targeted adverts, if you like, for support around COVID, making sure that the right message was getting out using a combination of notifications and banners. You can also integrate in with social media feeds directly into that home screen, so it's very dynamic, live representation of what's going on campus. Plus, we have content pages that can be very quickly created using our Creative Studio, which is a very simple or very quick to learn, but with lots of depth in terms of content creation and pushing that out to your students. And the great thing about all of these banners, notifications, and content, it's create once and publish to many. So it's very quick to actually roll this information out and be very agile about how you're doing that. Let's talk a little bit about empowerment, and really the core ethos of campusM, as well as being quick, easy, and powerful, is to provide that one-stop shop. And to do that, we have to integrate with systems. Now, this campusM is very much an integration platform that allows you to bring in lots of different experiences and workflows from your back-end systems, whether that's your virtual learning environment, email, library, your timetable systems, your student record systems. It's really about bringing that to the fore in one place for students to access that data and interact with that data. So what we've done this year is we've moved into what we call product integrations that are really about making it very easy and simple for you guys to create, deploy, and manage integrations with your back-end systems, but also make sure that students have a consistent experience through the app that is maintained and is enhanced on an ongoing basis. Now, something that's quite unique to campusM, like many of the other ex-Libris products, is our product is developed on an agile basis. So each month we release a new version of the app and the platform, and we manage that whole experience end to end for you guys. But that does mean that we can enhance those experiences very agilely, very quickly, and that's really enabled us, since the COVID hit, for us to really address directly the challenges that customers have come to us with. Now, these product integrations cover a wide range of systems. Some of those, make a lot of sense and are relatively straightforward to understand: email, the virtual learning environment, library, student records, timetables, those kind of areas. But we also have these product integrations that dip into other areas of the digital portfolio, if you like, for institutions. So, for example, we have a resource booking product integration that allows you to integrate existing resource booking functionality or create your own using RESTful APIs and a back-end database, and we manage the front end through campusM. We also have a digital ID card offering, an events management type piece that allows you to expose events to students for them to add to their own calendar or within campusM. We have what we've traditionally had as kind of peripheral integrations, so things like laundry and integrating with available washing machines and tumble dryers on campus, through to print credits and being able to view credit levels as well. One of the new things that we've introduced this year, in addition, is this lists API, which really allows you to create dynamic lists for your students. For a first-year student, that might be about making sure they arrive prepared with their pots and pans and super noodles ready for the start of term. Or for final year students, it might be, just making sure that they prepare for postgraduate study. You can create these dynamic lists that are available for your end users to engage with. And we're finding that because students are not on campus, and where institutions traditionally have had very much a face-to-face physical approach to supporting their students, we're seeing the amount of interactions now being carried out through the app as opposed to person to person is growing significantly, and we're seeing that grow on a day-by-day basis as we head into the start of term for many institutions. Engagement is going to be a key challenge over the coming months as students transition to this new way of operating, as students move from secondary education into tertiary education. Being able to understand how engaged students are and being able to react to that understanding is going to be very important. And so we've offered a number of insightful areas around this. Our first is building on our existing attendance piece, which allows you to provide classroom, either physical or virtual classroom attendance, and a student can check in from their device or from the web app. And we have something that's quite unique in terms of multi-factor validation that allows you to use a range of validation technologies to actually validate that the student was in the place they said they were. Now, originally this was very much focused on supporting in-class physical class attendance. However, we've identified an increasing number of institutions now that are coming to us and asking directly for support for online virtual classes, and we do that through one-time code validation, but we also offer the ability for teaching staff to also check students in, and we've got a number of institutions that are using a range of these different types of check-in functionalities for them to start understanding student engagement within their classes. On top of this, and in direct reaction to the feedback that we were getting from customers, we introduced a new feature in August that's very much focused on starting to help us understand student sentiment, or helping you guys to understand student sentiment. On the basis of it, it's a really simple, quick to deploy, lightweight, single question, multi-choice poll that can be asked of your students on a regular basis. But we've built on the app functionality that's already inherent within campusM to add additional value to this. So we've added the ability, based on individual responses to questions, the ability to change roles within the app. And that allows you to, for example, surface a health pass if students are self-certified that they're fit and healthy, or if you're asking a question about mental well-being or general satisfaction, again, based on their answer, you can change the student's roles. Based on the roles, you can change the end user experience. And I will show you an example of this when we get to the demonstration, so you can see it in operation. So each response to the questions is visible and to the end user, so they have a history of responses, but it's also available to you guys, both on an aggregate level and on an individual level, to extract and plow into your existing learner analytics or engagement analytics piece, so you can start to understand student sentiment as well. We've also listened to customers. One of our key features and functions, from day one really around campusM was around the logistics of the student timetable and making sure the student knew where they needed to be from 1 minute of the day to the next. from providing links to the map so they can get directions to that location, or using this as the basis for attendance as well. The timetable sits very much at the heart of student day-to-day interaction. And what we've done, again, directly in response to feedback from customers, is allow for a mixed mode of information around both physical and virtual class settings. So you'll see within the screenshots here, we have the ability to provide both physical location for a class and a link to the map so the student can get guidance, and also an online meeting link where you can link out to Zoom, Teams, Articulate, whatever flavor of online classroom that you are linking to. And that's all pulled in live data through your timetabling system or through your enterprise service bus and mixed and matched within the campusM interface. So a really good way of directing students to make sure they know where they need to be, whether it's physical or virtually, for their actual classes. Finally, thinking about in campus safety, and again in direct response to both customers and government pressures, we've worked really hard to get a really simple but powerful contact tracing mechanism in place. And so within the campusM app, we have the ability as a product integration to deploy a contact tracing experience that allows end users to scan QR codes. There's nothing special about the QR codes other than some of the text that's encoded in that QR code. And we can scan that, date stamp, time stamp, and person stamp that scan and send it, collect it either in our cloud and make it available to you through an API where you can extract the data on demand, or directly pass it back to you guys so you can manage and service the data as well. And we've got a number of institutions that have deployed and are in active deployment of this contact tracing app. And this is all part of the campusM product, so there's no additional fees. It's part of the campusM family in terms of features and function sets that comes as part of campusM. And finally, within that campus safety, we do have a number of institutions that are using the quick polls functionality as a symptom tracker. And again, using this and the ability to modify and change roles to really target those students that have maybe identified themselves with symptoms with helpful information, those that haven't with health passes, just so there's a level of confidence in terms of when those guys engage with campus. So we've, a lot of this stuff that I've talked about briefly has very much been developed in direct response to customer feedback, or has been an established part of campusM and has been a long time feature used for years now in terms of engaging students, but really has come to the fore now that the digital experience is as important, if maybe not more important, than the actual physical campus experience. So with that said, I'm going to break out now and show you some demonstrations of the experiences so you can see what's going on. So the first thing that I'm going to demonstrate is the attendance piece, and it's really nice and simple from an end user's point of view to actually engage with. You should see on my screen a virtualization of this app, so you can actually see what's going on screen. This is a really simple demonstration, very much focused on attendance. So you can see within this experience, I've got my timetable, which, nice busy day. I've put plenty of events on over the course of the webinar, so I can actually give you a good demonstration of this. Within each of these events, you can have a variable amount of data. I can have virtual link outs to virtual classes, as well as link outs to maps and directions to those events. And this also, our calendar allows for a range of different calendars to be resolved. In this example, for demonstrations, I've got both course and staff timetables, so I can demonstrate the experience from student and staff experience. But you might have open day or closed day information here. You might have social feeds coming in here, driven by iCal feeds and such like that. As an end user, I can select or choose which calendar I want to show. Attendance is very much driven off the class timetable, and as part of that deployment, you configure through App Manager what calendar is driving the attendance experience. If I go into my check-in tile here, you can see it's a nice simple interface for me to actually check into classes. So what you're seeing is our attendance home screen. Within this screen, I have a range of information. So I have the number of classes I have today, and of those, how many I've actually checked into, a nice progress bar. I have the classes that I can check into now, i.e. the check-in window is open, the padding around an event within which I can say, someone can check into that class. So you can define, if you want to open the class 15 minutes early, and you want to close it 15 minutes before the end, that can be configured by you in real time. So these are the available classes. I've got 3 classes, concurrent classes that I can check into now. And then at the bottom of this page, I've got my upcoming classes for the rest of the day. I also have a history tab, so I can see how my attendance has been tracking for today or over the last 2 weeks. I can see whether I've been checked in, it's been validated, or whether I've checked in and it's been invalidated, whether I've logged an absence, or whether my lecturers have logged an absence. So I've got visibility of my check-ins over the last 2 weeks. We also have a help screen because we do know that students can be quite sensitive around this data and policies and such like. So within here, you can either list information or link out to policy documents and all the rest of it that the students would be interested in. Now, I don't know whether I've had any because I'm on, yes, I have had, I'm on suppression of notifications at the moment, but you can see here, I've actually had a reminder about a class that's coming up at 2:30, and clicking on that notification will actually take me to the notification screen. And within here, I can just simply check into a class. I'm done. And you can see managing urban flood risk. If I go to my history, you can see that I've managed to check into urban flood risk in real time. Or alternatively, I can mark myself as absent, and these absence reasons can be configured by yourselves again in real time. We also offer a staff experience for this, again, whether that's for supporting students in class, or that's as an alternative for student check-in for virtual classes. So I'm now within our web application, web version of our application. Zoom that in a bit so you can see what's going on. And I'm going to, I've got a similar access to a class schedule. I'm going to go to my lecturer check-in now and show you from the point of view of a lecturer what this experience is like. So I can see here I've got the managing urban flood risk. As a lecturer, I've got the classes that I've got in progress and those that are upcoming. And in the same way as the student, I've got a history of classes. And a nice thing within this history of classes, as a lecturer, I can actually go into each of those classes and see how students have been tracking. And if I wanted to, I can update that student attendance as well. But if we go to our managing urban flood risk, you can see here, this is my student check-in that I've just completed. I know that this student is absent. So again, I can mark the student as absent as well. So really nice, simple interface to allow both students and staff to engage with attendance and do that in a way that's validated and provides, a sense of security over the data that's being captured. We provide an API that allows you to extract this data and then push it into your own back-end reporting systems or data warehouse or existing attendance monitoring solution if you want to. We're very much focused on the capture component. Let's go back to our app and look at some very quick features and functions. I've talked around quick polls and contact tracing. Now I'm just going to quickly get my slides up, bring my app to the front here. It's a slightly different app I'm going to now just to show contact tracing. This is more of a typical, more busy app where we've got lots of different integration points from email through to timetable, engagement data, events data, links to Teams or Zoom, library, lots of integrations and components to this one. But within here, you'll see at the top level there, I've got my contact tracing experience. Now this is really simple, very quick to deploy. I can deploy this in under 2 minutes. It's just a case of enabling the product integration, clicking on our vendor as a source to store that data and deploying it to the home screen. When you actually click on the screen, the student is provided with their scanning home screen, and like all of our product integrations, all of these components can be changed in terms of terminology used, labeling, look and feel, colours and such like for the experience. I can also remove the cancel button so students can't actually cancel their scans if I wanted to. It's that level of configurability offered in real time within our product integrations. As with other experiences here, we provide a searchable history for students to be able to explore where they've been and the times that they were there. So, they can almost do the kind of track and trace with themselves if they need to. Let's just quickly show you very quickly the scan. I click scan here, and you can see that my device's cameras come up. As you can see, I accidentally scanned just by panning. It's very quick, very simple. What we're doing here is when I scan that QR code, we're scanning the parameters within that QR code, which might contain location information. It might have parameters around whether it's the door number, whether it's an in or an out scan, and we're storing that within our cloud. And we're also making it available to the end user within the interface as well. We date stamp it, we add a user stamp to it. By virtue of them logging into the app, we have that detail, and that provides you with the ability to extract that data based on an end user, based on a time range, based on a location. So you can then start to identify, where the students have been in a particular location or co-located with their colleagues. Let's just quickly dive into quick polls. And again, like our other product integrations and other product features, these screen elements are controllable in terms of terminology, color schemes, and visibility. I've got 2 outstanding polls available for me to answer. The first one is our symptom tracker. Let's see if before I do that, let's just quickly go to alerts. So you can see I've had a notification about a response to that symptom tracker. Click on that, it takes me directly to the polls. I click on that poll and it gives me the question and then the available responses. So I'm going to say, are you experiencing one or more of these symptoms? I'm going to say yes to this. And I'm going to click next. And you can see there that, we've got a custom response based on the end user's selected answer to that question. But moreover, if I put the app into the background and then bring it back, you can see there that I put in a very blatant change to the user experience based on response to that question. So, I've just placed a big red tile on there with COVID symptoms. That could link out, it doesn't have to be that explicit, it can be anything. It could be more than one tile. It could be a tile that takes up the whole screen, for example. It just allows you to, based on the response to a particular poll, present the end user with a particular experience or experiences based on their response. In this case, it's just showing that I've got a potential COVID symptoms. The next time I ask that poll, again, it could be the same poll. I can set up recurrence around the same poll. The next time I answer that, I might say no symptoms, and that would then change my role such that this tile will be removed and I get a safe, a pass role applied. I've also got within here an alternative. So it might actually be about student satisfaction, mental health, any kind of single question, multi-choice response poll that you want, you can set up here and ask the question. I'll click next on that one. And again, what I've done is set up a very, hopefully a very explicit experience that just shows you, can we help? I've answered it with kind of low level of satisfaction, so you can therefore expose services that can support the student if they've identified themselves as struggling, or equally, if they've answered that as I'm really enjoying it, you could actually surface a service that allows them to apply to become a student advocate or something like that would allow them to exploit their positive feeling around the institution. Now, we have one other demonstration that I'm just going to show you, where I'm going to show you alerts. And the alert notifications is something that's highly used, especially at the start of term and especially over the COVID period. So I'm going to go into our web-based configuration tool now. This is our App Center, and this is where administrators manage the whole experience from end to end. And I'm going to go into our notification center. And this is where effectively I can set up my notifications either to fire now or schedule them up, send them to individuals or send them to groups. You'll see here that I sent one earlier. I can see it where it was an individual notification. At the moment, that person hasn't read that notification. If I click into that notification itself, you can see here that I can send an edited version of that message to all the same recipients, or I can send an edited version to those that have either read it or those that haven't read it. So you can engage with those individuals that have already read and engaged with that notification. Sending a notification is very simple. for a single, an individual notification, I search for my user I want to send it to. So in this case, it's Mary. I set up a title. You can see I've done one already. I can add in some parameters that will put in individual data. So this is their first name. I can put in their email address, last name, etc., etc. The nice thing is I can also create links using our action URL. I can actually link to individual components within campusM. So I'm actually going to link to a position. And I can send now, or I can schedule up the notification. So let's send that notification. Let's get my back up. Sorry, I never get it in time for guys to see it. So you can see there, I've got my welcome back notification come through. Because I've got suppress notifications, so you can't actually see the notification come through. Otherwise, we'd be inundated with nagging emails from me. But you can see here within alerts, I've got my Miri welcome back notification. You can see here that notification has a link within it. And by clicking on that link, I can then go to that location or other resources within campusM. Nice and simple and effective to actually do. And these notifications, as I say, can be batched up and left to run as a campaign over time, or you can set them up so they send as groups. You can send them to role-based notification groups. So if you've got a first year notification group, role, then you can actually align a notification group with that. And as an end user, you can also have notification groups that are subscription. So I can subscribe to notification groups and receive alerts off of those. So a really simple, powerful notification platform that can be driven through this campusM interface, or dynamically through an API, a notification API, or through email as well. You can actually convert email to notification as well. So that concludes the demonstration. I hope that gave you a really good flavour of campusM and some of the new features that we've designed and developed. We are really preparing for the next normal. As I say, because of the way we develop the product on a very agile basis, we can be very responsive to the changing needs of our user community and for prospective users as well. And that's really allowed us to draw out, enhance, embellish some of our existing functions or create new ones that really allow us to directly address some of those challenges, whether that's supporting contact tracing, targeting and contextualizing comms. We also have analytics that sit behind the app and the app usage, which are available for you to extract in terms of learner analytics and what transactions, interactions, services students are interacting with within the app and at what time. We provide very easy ways of targeting and signposting services or information based on end user roles. Our product integrations really allow you to empower your students and really make most of the investments you've made in a range of different systems by bringing it into one place and exposing it to the students in a really simple, intuitive, but powerful interface. So thank you very much for your attention. We do have some time for questions. Hopefully James will kick in and we'll answer any questions that you might have and answer any questions about follow-ups as well.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Matt. And I hope everybody found that useful and insightful. I think, as you know, just to echo what Matt said, we've really tried to work quite tirelessly with, collaboratively with our community over the past 2 to 3 months to really get a good understanding of the challenges that institutions are facing, and very quickly, I think, develop things that are going to be useful and really add value to help you ensure, I suppose, the safety and security of students as they start to return to campus. I don't see any questions in the chat at this moment in time. Matt, could you just flick to the next slide? So I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for joining. I know it's probably very, very busy times for people as you start, gearing up to having students return. We will be sending you out a copy of the recording shortly. That will probably come from myself. Apparently we do have a question, so bear with me a second. So there is a question here, Matt. I'll probably let you address this in terms of how many how many universities we currently have using attendance. I could probably take a stab at this, but I'll let you answer that one, Matt.
Yeah, so we've actually got 17 institutions either in active deployment or in piloting. Unfortunately, a lot of our institutions were hitting pilot just at the time when campuses closed down, so they're resuming their pilots, albeit in a slightly different approach for this year. But we have four campusi. We have 4 institutions that have full implementations capturing attendance across all classes currently, and then a further 13 that are in pilot mode and evaluation.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Matt. I'll pause just very quickly before I conclude what I was going to say, just to see if there are any more questions. I think there probably will be, but as I was saying, we'll send you out a copy of the recording, and within that will probably come from myself. So if there are things that you've taken from today, challenges that your specific institutions are facing, then obviously my details will be on the email. So don't hesitate to get directly in contact with me, and what we can possibly do is look to set up a time with yourselves and myself and Matt to really drill into those in a little bit more detail and see potentially how we can help you. But once again, thank you very much indeed for your time. We will be in contact shortly, and hopefully look forward to speaking to some of you again in the near future. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.